Hi, welcome to this week's Pipeline. I'm JewWario, and here with me, as always, is my friend Shuki.
How's it going?
Now, Final Fantasy XIII, I've been seeing a lot of people in Japan taking pictures of their bargain bins with rows and rows of Final Fantasy XIII. And I really want to give this a honest-to-goodness try, but I think one of the reasons why it's failing, and a lot of people also agree with this, is the linearness of this whole thing. I mean, you know, first cave with just a couple of shoot-offs going from, you know, one point to another and not being able to go around. And you like games where you can wander. Mm-hmm. I like games where you can wander.
Yeah. The sandbox game has become very popular lately. In fact, that's one of the key things that I see people complaining about linear games that are more traditional. Is they're like, oh man, it'd be so much greater if it was like GTA. Why is it always GTA, guys? I gotta ask you, why? There's so many sandbox games in the world. Like, why not Morrowind? Side rant. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, the linear game isn't going to be quite as interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even some RPGs, I mean, JRPGs aren't everybody's cup of tea, but when you have just bad storytelling in that way, I mean, that's why I couldn't finish number 12. Oh. And I stayed for 3 hours inside the town, and I went on a little tiny quest, find me a tomato. What? You know,
what?
It was find me a tomato.
Safeway is 3 blocks that
way. and the, you know, and so, but that's not interesting storytelling.
No.
There was so much that could be going on. Mm-hmm. So how about you? Why don't you like RPG games?
Well, I'd say that I definitely don't like JRPG games, and I have to make that distinction because of the random encounters. Like, I know you guys, you know, in that like genre, you're used to random encounters, but to me, like doop-a-doop-a-doop. What? I was walking. No, he was over there. Oh.
But I was walking. I was almost there.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I liked about Anachronox. Because Anachronox, yeah, there were random encounters, but you could see them. So you'd be like, oh, there's some dudes over there. I don't want to deal with them right now. I'm going to go over here. And every now and then, of course, like they'd be in an area that you had to go through. So eventually you had to deal with it. And then they'd come back and they'd respawn. You know, you have to fight them again. Maybe you do it a lot, but you'd be like, oh, okay, there they are. It's not random. It's like you have whatever tenuous sense of control over your fate that you have. You actually have it.
Well, and then you also, you know, that goes all the way back to Final Fantasy Dragon Quest on the NES. And you're not the console boy, you're more the PC boy.
Yeah, definitely.
And that really shows I'm used to it because I had it way back when. And so it's not a big deal for me, but you having played these other games that really didn't have that.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. And I think at the end of the day, we invest time in games, we expect for them to give us something back, be it, you know, a storyline or a new weapon, an unlockable, something interesting. If we don't get it, and like you said, I think linear games are great. I would say Indigo Prophecy, or Fahrenheit, as it was called, was extremely linear. I mean, it was a choose-your-own-adventure book. There was really only one good path through that game. And if you deviated from it, you'd get different sort of results. But invariably, you would die. So it was very linear, but it was all about storytelling. And it was a strong enough story that we could forgive it for that. But if you have something like Final Fantasy XIII that's very linear with no story, or you're stuck in town buying tomatoes, you know.
Yeah, that can be a pain. You know, there's even more of that I see. As games are getting bigger, and people are wanting to invest more into a game, you know, the $60 to buy a game, that's quite a hefty amount, and to be unsatisfied with something so simple as a storytelling element. You know, media has really gotten a lot of power nowadays, and I don't want the media to influence my enjoyment or non-enjoyment of Final Fantasy XIII. I really want to give it the good old college go and see what happens, but you know, it's becoming more and more. People don't want to spend the $60, so they do go to the websites. They do try and find out what somebody's opinion of it is.
And developers are having to find ways, maybe small, easy ways that don't cost a lot of money, to build up their game worlds, to give you something more. Like Borderlands, giving you, randomly generated weapons everywhere. Like, you want to play just for the weapons. And that's a very easy little thing for them to do that had a very large impact in the gaming environment. And the question is, what's Square Enix not doing? What are they holding on to from an old model that maybe they should let go and bring something new in?
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that I've heard from Square Enix's mouth, pretty much, that they're going to be changing.
Oh.
Final Fantasy XIV will not be the same kind of game, so we'll see how that.
I'll believe that when I see it. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Start a conversation below in the comments area, and let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week on the Gaming Pipeline.